है ना? हाँ, हो गया।
Yeah, that's sure.
राइट, दैट्स गुड। चलो ना, वील एडमिट पीपल
Yeah.
ना, कीप कमिंग। पिछले बार ऐसे ही शुरू हुआ था, इट स्टार्टेड वेरी स्लो, उसके बाद धड़ 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 धड़, लाइक सो मेनी। एक्सक्यूज मी।
Hello.
Hi, Rashmi ma'am.
हाय रश्मि
Hi.
मैम, गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन,
Hi.
वेलकम।
Good evening. Good evening.
Good
Govinda.
evening.
Hi, Sami.
Hello,
Hi.
good evening. Hi, Rashmi ma'am.
Hi, Parul. Hi, Dipti.
हेलो रश्मि मैम, कैसी हैं आप? ड्राइव कर रही हैं?
Good.
Oh, right. You're
हेलो
driving
मैम।
and hi,
Ah,
Dipti. Rashmi ma'am, please keep your mobile and don't hold it in your hand while driving.
yes. Thank you.
I
नहीं
trust your driving skills, but not the people who are around you.
नहीं मैं उस पे लगा दे रही हूँ स्टैंड।
हाँ, ब्लूटूथ पे लगा के स्टैंड पे लगा।
हाय समी। हाय
Hi,
पारुल जी।
Shabagna. Hi, Shabagna ma'am.
ऑल द वे, ऑल गुड
Yeah.
इवनिंग।
Good evening. Good evening.
Parul, would you like to start at 6:05? Parul, would you like to start?
जी वृंदा जी, स्टार्ट करते हैं। दोस्तों नमस्ते, मैं पारुल। हमारे आज के सेशन में आपका स्वागत है। डाउन सिंड्रोम फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडिया के इस सेशन में आज हम बात करने वाले हैं किशोरावस्था में पहुंचने पर डाउन सिंड्रोम ब्लेस्ड बेटियों के हम कैसे उनकी हाइजीन का ध्यान रख सकते हैं, कैसे उनकी सुरक्षा का ध्यान रख सकते हैं, कैसे उन्हें ये सब चीजें सिखा सकते हैं। आपको याद होगा पिछली बार हमने लड़कों पर केंद्रित एक सेशन किया था इसी विषय पर, और जिसमें मिसेस समीक्षा सजवान आई थी। उन्होंने ये सेशन प्रेषित किया था, जो कि हमारे कार्यक्रम की होस्ट हैं। और समीक्षा, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आज इस कार्यक्रम में एक मेहमान के तौर पर। दोस्तों समीक्षा के बारे में मैं आपको थोड़ा सा बताना चाहती हूँ। डाउन सिंड्रोम फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडिया के से एक पीआर और एक काउंसलर के तौर पर जुड़ी हुई समीक्षा जी IIDSC जो हमारी कॉन्फ्रेंस होती है उसकी कोर कमेटी की मेंबर्स हैं, एक एक्टिव कार्यकर्ता हैं और डाउन सिंड्रोम पेरेंट सोसाइटी दिल्ली की कोषाध्यक्ष भी हैं। एंड साथ में बहुत सारी एकेडमिक, इनके पास कई सारी डिग्रियां हैं, बहुत सारी साइंस से लेके और फिर कई सारी जर्नलिज्म और बहुत सारी पगडंडियों से गुजरते हुए ये यहाँ आज हमारे साथ जुड़ी हुई हैं। जीवन में एक समय ऐसा आया जब अपने 2 साल के नन्हे पुत्र को एक बीमारी के हाथों खोकर इन्होंने एक ऐसी साधना की तरफ बढ़ने का प्रण लिया कि बहुत सारी माँओं का हाथ थामना है, उनका साथ देना है, जो आज तक ये निभा रही हैं, कर रही हैं और उसमें आगे बढ़ रही हैं, प्रगतिशील है। बहुत सारी माएँ हैं जो इन पे डिपेंड करती हैं, बहुत सारी ऐसी लोग हैं जो इनके साथ जुड़कर जिंदगी क्या है ये महसूस कर पाते हैं। एक बड़ी बेटी है और अब एक छोटी बेटी जो एक फरिश्ते के तौर पर फिर से जिंदगी में आई है, यहाँ भी इनके साथ भारतीय सेना के एक बड़े अधिकारी इनके पति हैं और उनके साथ अलग अलग हिस्सों में, राज्यों में भारत के स्थानांतरित होते हुए भी ये अपने कार्य को, अपना जो प्रण लिया है समाज सेवा का, उसे नहीं भूलती हैं, उसमें कार्यरत रहती हैं, उसमें कोई बाधा नहीं आने देती हैं। और इसी के साथ साथ आवाज से भी ये जुड़ी हुई हैं, क्योंकि एक उच्च पदस्थ अधिकारी की सेना में अगर आप हैं भारत में तो वहां भी आपकी बहुत सारी ड्यूटीज होती हैं जिन्हें ये बेफिक्री से और बहुत तन्मयता से निभाती है और हमें पता भी नहीं लगने देती कि एक दूसरी तरफ भी ये इनका एक मोर्चा खुला हुआ है। तो दोस्तों, इन सब कार्यों को करते करते, वेलफेयर के काम करते करते, इसके साथ साथ जो आज ये बात करने वाली है उसके लिए ये यूं ही कहीं आके बात नहीं करनी है। ये एक कंसल्टेंट एंड ट्रेनर है, बाकायदा पर्सनल सेफ्टी एंड सेक्सुअलिटी एटिकेट्स फॉर न्यूरो डाइवर्स इंडिविजुअल्स के लिए जो करते हैं, और वर्क्स अलोंग विद पेरेंट्स, एजुकेटर्स एंड पीपल विद एडिशनल नीड्स, जो सर्टिफाइड ट्रेनर है पोस्को अवेयरनेस से। तो ये सारी बातें आपको बताने का मतलब ये था कि ये सारी बातें ध्यान से सुनिएगा, क्योंकि ये वो चीजें हैं जो हमारी जिंदगी को और हमारी बेटियों की जिंदगी को आसान करने वाली है। समीक्षा, आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है हमारे आज के कार्यक्रम में।
Thank you so much, Parul, and happy to be here again. And yes, as promised in the last session, we will take up the session for the girls also. So in that spirit, we are here today, and it was a quite elaborate introduction, and I am feeling the same as I felt the last session. और जब पारुल बोलती है तो you feel it more deeply. Thank you so much, Parul, and just living my life and contributing to all the social roles. That's it. Nothing extra great I'm doing, but you made it sound like, oh my God, so many things.
वो हम पूछिए।
Thank you so much for always being there by my side when we are sharing a platform or a stage in IADSCs or here. And yes, I want to mention that these sessions were also one of the strong reasons for me to pursue this kind of field, because we try to bring in expert from all the spheres where we can discuss issues and challenges and make the life comfortable for us parents, for the community of Humsaffas and every stakeholder. But when we were searching for the person who could give us a lot of information on this aspect, we could find one or two, but reaching to them again was becoming difficult. So that was a personal challenge I took, that let me try. And I'm happy that it is received well and it is working also for us, right? So I felt that I got a more direction in my life. So straight away now coming to the sharing of my screen. So please let me know if you are able to see it. And I go in a presentation mode.
जी, देख पा रहे हैं हम आपको।
Yeah. So yes. So now I can only see my screen and not you all. I don't know why this screen format has come to me. I'll just check whether the layout is there. No.
कोई बात नहीं है, हम
Yeah. So I hope. Yes, that's good. Thank you so much, Parul. So yes, today we will discuss about this topic, personal safety and sexuality etiquettes for our girls. And this is one of the aspects of our lives which is need-based And the beginning of the session is going to be in similar lines because the presenter is the same and also the topic is same. Yes, you will find the difference and creativity when we advance in the presentation, when we move on to the specific topics related to girls, right? So don't feel that it's a repetition. That's why I have tried to change the orientation also, the colors also of the slide, so that, you know, it can I can feel that it's a little bit different. So we know that this aspect of our life is highly need-based, and we also know that the needs differ from individual to individual, right, in all aspects. And also, according to the age, cultural background, religion, and personal beliefs, and values and ethics, and also it is influenced by societal, financial, emotional, and the personal physiological factor, right? So there are a lot of aspects of human life which influence these kind of behaviors, or why we are groomed in a typical way, right? So today we will learn that on what line and length we can take on this journey with our young girls and prepare them for this transition, right? Because we know with proper interventions they can and they are conducting themselves better uh, than many of their typical peers and siblings. So with today's session, we will understand that how progressively, comfortably, in a very dignified manner, we can build the skills to handle difficult times smoothly and with positive attitude, and live with a responsible sexual behavior and mold our girls to in a beautiful individuals, so that no behavior is a barrier for them to realize their potential, right? So such skills are built on many cultural and social values, and of course the nation we live in. And here we will also consider the rights of dignity and right to privacy. We will be discussing some basics and will attempt to inculcate the correct skills in ourselves first, so that we can groom and teach our young girls how to manage puberty gracefully. Okay, so my slide has to change. Uh, yeah. So again, coming back to the same slide, that we will talk about you and me. I'm thinking about myself and you also, that I would request you to write about your own teenage days, all the females present here, all the mothers and caregivers present here, and that from where we learn about sexuality, who was that person who any which way told us what is to be like growing up? Where were we? Because we need to bring that shift first within, because trying to teach something, we are trying to teach or groom our young girls with something, with some skill that for which we just got conditioned in an absolute easy sense, and it was not easy. We know that it was a very difficult transition for us all as well, but with times we tend to forget things. So this exercise will give us a point of start from where we will unlearn, learn, relearn, and expand our own capacities and make use of available resources in the best time. So let's self-reflect. Uh-oh. Yeah, just some moments of reflection.
अभी हम कुछ देख नहीं पा रहे हैं.
It is just the music, Parul, so that with the slow music we can write about our own, teenage time. Yeah, I know sometimes it's difficult to recall what we have been through, but yes, if we put a little pressure on our brains, we will realize that how it was not easy for us as well, right? So coming again, setting up the group rules, it's very important for us to talk about group rules. And think of it, because I have been to various places, as Parul mentioned, by the virtue of my husband's service nature. And I have understood that, there are all so different practices involved when it comes to discussing about, growing up aspect of girls and boys. Some cultures are very open. In India only I'm talking about. Some states are very open about certain aspects, but some states, they just don't talk about it. They feel it's a very forbidden topic to be discussed in public or with even elders in the family. So we will participate here with absolutely not judgmental, absolutely being non-judgmental, and we will feel free in sharing our own mind, right? And nobody will be evaluated here, right? Whatever comes to your heart or whatever you want to add on or share is most welcome. Because as neurotypical, we know that we must establish this fact that sometimes when we talk, the proper meaning translating into words, and the other person who's listening also understand in the same spirit, it varies, and there are so many variables which affect this kind of conversation, right? For a discussion at any subject, not only particular to this. And we are very apprehensive also when we are asking or sharing any doubt or sharing some experience, that how it will be perceived by the other person. So we want to reassure each other that we'll be non-judgmental in our approach. And our purpose here is to grow our own skills and disseminate the correct knowledge and grasp the correct understanding of the aspect we'll be discussing. And no one will be called out or gossiped about based on what is shared here today. So we ask that you remain on subject, take part in a courteous manner, and listen actively. Listening actively is a great skill which is acquired, by being. I mean, we acquired with the time. And of course, this disclaimer that the presentation has been made by the materials I referred for my research and for my training, and that copyright is with all those who have created them. I have also given them the credit in my slides. So this is only for information and educational purposes. So and there is no replacement for the professional advice. And this is just for grooming skills and understanding the problems better. So coming to that, why grooming girls for safety and sexuality etiquettes? Because we know we can raise an independent girl child with the diagnosis of Down syndrome, because we have seen so many already. And we also know that, in times to come, these young girls who are in our houses will also become the same. And because they are capable of doing daily living activities independently, provided we guide them and train them. That's the only dependency we have. And we also understand that someone with poor personal hygiene may be avoided in social settings, resulting in feelings of loneliness and isolation, which already we are fighting with, because with the diagnosis when our child roams around. So we are already fighting that, battle, that our child will be included in all the social settings. But yes, we are winning those battles, and they are beautifully embraced in the societies and the educations and the centers our children are visiting. So, and we know that maintaining good hygiene practices reduces the spread of illness and lowers the risk of health problems caused by neglecting ourselves. Nobody neglects on purpose, but once it is not has come in our habits, makes us do so, right? So we all know how emotionally unhealthy we all are, right? So self-care is a very important aspect. So we will come to that also in the times in the slides which will be coming. So the focus of today's talk will be, again, as we did it in the last discussion, that it was going to be with the perspective of health and hygiene and socially acceptable norms. So we must also remember that these conversation or talks with our self-advocates must be age appropriate, culturally sensitive, and scientifically sound. We hope that today's material will assist us parents in properly comprehending, understanding the fundamental concerns of pubertal issues of our young girls, And we know that each individual is different. So the specific requirement and grooming solutions and strategies can vary for each girl, and which can be discussed later on offline and online. We'll be sharing my information, and everybody also has my number, so that will not be a problem. So now coming to the next slide, that we've all been there. I'm basically addressing to all the females. Now the society is becoming more open, but we have all been there. And I want to say that this is a step towards capacity building for us parents, for us mothers, so that we can create a vocabulary and attitude in understanding the pivotal issues of our growing girls from their perspective. We have all undergone all this, that growth. We know the growth spurts, the growing pains, the emotional changes we had, the social changes we found around us, and how sexually and reproductive changes also occur in the body, how relationships we start seeing differently, how the feelings and the romantic feelings and interests start to rise, and there must be so many other specific experience, because this aspect of growth involves so many aspects which influences it, and it is so different in everyone. And when we discussed it with our peers, we found that there were so many different ways, the people or the families have their approach towards this kind of grooming, right? And as a typical person, at times, and the times we were born, such things were never considered to be talked about, and we didn't require it. It was something which was to be endured by the individual. Why I'm saying we're using word endured, we will later on learn in the presentation, because of the symptoms and the premenstruational symptoms we have during our cycles. And we were just expected to take care of it, and we did, right? But that's not how it is going to be in our princess life, because of the diagnosis, and because of her learning depends on us. Everything she learns, every skill she learns, it goes through us. So that's why this it's a very strong reason to be here for all of us. And it's possible that some of us may also feel ashamed, uneasy, or hesitant to speak about it, right? Because most parents, carers, and instructors find difficult to educate children about their private parts when they reach adolescence, and many times either we skip the topic or end the discussion without providing them or our children the educate explanation. And the girls must learn to care of their bodies and engage in healthy habits, and which we are already doing in many aspects. Just a little shift and extension of those learnings which we are giving to them in this aspect also we need to incorporate. So we also know what kind of changes occur in girls when they start growing up. The breast starts budding and the growing pains are there, and there's a growth spurt, and also the pubic hairs and the hair and underarm starts. The first period also come, and the changes in body shape occurs, and the breast size increases. And sometimes during this phase, some people are prone for acne, which can be on body and also on, mostly on face and body as well. And there will be increased sweating and body odor, and oily skin and body hair and all sort of, it differs from person to person what kind of a weather or skin the one has, and of course the vaginal discharge also. So when we think of all these topics, or all this understanding of the changes in the girls, it prepares us in understanding about their bodies while growing up, and helps in having a positive self-image. So we need to increase knowledge and improve our own attitude first towards grooming them for their personal hygiene and healthy habits. And for young girls, it helps in understanding what is happening, or the physical process of handling the menstruational cycles and the products they are going to use to manage it. They also learn appropriate ways of handling, or other aspects of growing up, and also maintaining the genital hygiene. So, what topics should be discussed from the early life, right? We discussed it for the boys also, and for the girls, of course, there are many bullet points. Few are which can be incorporated from very young age when the child starts learning about the body parts. And later on, every aspect and every topic takes a complex shape where we talk about, a specific aspect of growing up, right? So the topic should be body awareness, personal care, and hygiene management, which we'll be discussing today in very elaborate manner. And healthy boundaries, very important for all of us as well. And yes, when we equip them with the right knowledge and some safety rules, the risk management also is taken care. Yes, with the grown-ups, when they come to a certain stage, it is recommended that we talk about marriage, fertilization, contraception, and all. It is all based on the comprehensive sexuality education. These topics are because every organization which works towards the well-being of adolescents, they say the diagnosis or the neuro status of a person may differ, but the topic should be discussed. They should remain the same, and they should be discussed according to the need. So yes, the personal care and hygiene management, we come to the topic. So what are the personal hygiene habits? We have already been, grooming our children on the young ones in the house for these kind of important personal hygiene, which involves, regular and appropriate hand washing. And thanks to COVID, it has taught in so many steps that how a proper hand wash is taken, is done. And trimming nails, regular bathing, oral hygiene, how we, brush twice, and also, about nasal hygiene, that when we sneeze, we cover our mouth and nose, and, all those aspects. And why it is done, every action, as suggested, that running commentary, that every action needs to be told that hand washing by hand washing. And the best part of today's time is that on each of this aspect, you will find so many materials and children friendly material also online, that you just need to search and reach to a right material to be shown or to be taught to your younger one. Yes, for reinforcement and for making it regular habit, you have to involve different kind of strategies in your life, which we will discuss in the coming slides. Yes, and of course, for growing up, shaving of underarms, and shaving for boys, shaving and the face, and also keeping the pubic area clean for hygiene purposes. And of course, which we will discuss in length, is genital hygiene. And for today's presentation, we'll be discussing it for girls. So this is a small slide which I had sourced from the net only, that which talks about the tracking habits of weekly hygiene checklist. For girls, it becomes more important. Why? Because when we start maintaining this kind of tracking checklist from the beginning of the early format years, when we are telling them the independent bathing and brushing skills. Later on, we can translate it to tracking their periods, on a calendar. So if we introduce it in a younger time, which will lead, and the skill is transferred, it will be easy for them to track, to understand that tracking, that why we do so. So we come to the personal hygiene habits, right? We discussed all of this in the previous slide. We come to the main the topic, the genital hygiene, especially during menstruation. We'll be taking it up in a very, very elaborate manner. So we all talked about, like, in the genital hygiene, we need to understand that we need to clean this area while bathing, and regularly with, and it has to be reiterated and told to the child while, as a younger child, you are giving them bath, right? So washing genital organs daily with mild soap and water should be encouraged, and washing the vagina should become a regular bathing practice, right? So it has to be done with warm water during your regular bath or shower. When you do whatever kind of a water temperature you are using, with the same water it can be washed. And we have seen that in some houses they also use mild soap and or other intimate wash areas, washing products, which is totally personal choice. But why it helps? It helps always, and the particular we have heard other experts also talking about it, that the washing has to be done from front to back, so that the bacteria from the anal region should not enter the vagina or urethra. So always from front to back we need to teach them. That's how we wash the intimate area or the private parts of the girl. And regular washing can prevent that itching, germs, sweat, and infections. And pubic hair should be cleaned and shaved periodically, because long and attended pubic hair will lead to UTIs or other kind of problems, and it can also be very discomforting for a child, right? So, so the most important part of the body is, this slide has also come in the previous discussion, that female intimate hygiene is that the vagina cleans itself. It produces mucus that naturally washes away, whatever is not wanted in that area. And your job is simply to care for the external area, right? So avoid disrupting the internal environment and to keep the infection in at bay, so that the infection doesn't enter it, right? So we just need to clean it. And I mean, price of 4 times in a week is actually recommended, but when we are taking regular bath, we can have good clean, should be enough to maintain smegma free, that body creates, its own mucus to prevent a lot of infections to the body. So to clean it, we can have, just a water cleaning we can do. So bathing regularly is the best way to resolve this problem, and cleaning it with the mild soap and warm water is personal choice. Yes, water needs to be there. We need to pad dry and keep up a regular bathing schedule afterwards, right? And always wash front to back. This is what we wanted to reiterate. Now the question comes. We have circulated the questionnaire, and most of the responses had also this aspect as a concern, that how and when to start the topic. So we want to share that health and hygiene has always been part of your nurturing of the child, right from the beginning years, early formative years, when you are inculcating the hygiene habits for the child. So here we want to share that the girls, before reaching the age of 8 years, must know most of the growing aspects, be it body awareness, body parts, the covered body parts, the visible body parts, the private parts, or the how we care for them and why we do it, but what is hygiene management, the healthy boundaries, and teenagers must know about how to handle menstruation independently, the personal safety rules, private and public scenarios, and also from middle adulthood, they need to understand about relationships and marriages and etc. Because we know they start seeing the life differently when they grow up and reach, the adulthood, and they start asking questions. So when we keep discussing things at a personal level, incorporating it as a daily discussions of a growing up part, it becomes easy for us to navigate this topic in the later stages of adulthood. So, however, it is never too late to begin. We were just talking about the toddlers or the early formative years or the teenagers. Whereas if you haven't done yet, or we have not talked about it yet, and the child is grown up, we advise you to begin as soon as you can. And because our children are subjected to a lot of exposure in terms of videos, stories, and photographs, print media, magazines, hoardings, and of course the mobile use, and of course the serials we watch on TV. Every aspect is so much sexualized in a way that it becomes, a very important aspect to talk about, basing on our own values, that something which is portrayed in a film is not actually happening in the real life, right? So we learn it when we expose ourselves, when we used to watch a film, we used to see, aisa kuch to hona chahiye life mein, this is the reality, that's how it runs. So that's something different we live in day to day, so that needs to be discussed. in a very transparent and a very a simple way which your child can understand and your child is relating to, right? Because these all things can be ambiguous, incorrect, and deceptive. And parents, caregivers, and others who are involved, or the other stakeholders, we need to act as a role model, right? And we are the best source for our children for the correct, age appropriate, and accurate information that our ward needs. So therefore, it's time to begin. Best way are flashcards, sequencing cards, stories, audiovisual, material, interesting worksheets, and social stories. Yes, it will require a few times more effort from a parent or caregiver side, but when it's come to the habit, you will see that it becomes a daily routine that we talk about, in this aspect of personal safety and sexuality etiquettes for our young girls. So let me also suggest few ways in the slides to come. I'll demonstrate that there are unlimited resources available on menstruation education. There are books, there are small videos, there are a lot of products and slides and cards available online. And let me flash some that just so that you can begin with anything which you feel is handy. What I am going to show is what I felt. This is a small ad I've come across, and like this, there are so many small videos and films are made by social cause-driven companies that which gives us a right start to
मना किया था ना बाहर जाने के लिए, हैं? अपने मन की बहुत करती है तू। कहाँ गई थी तू? हैं? मना किया तो बाहर क्यों गई? ये लेके आई है महारानी। एक तेरा बाप है जो शहर में जाके धक्के खा रहा है कि इस घर को चलाने के लिए 2 रोटी कमा सके, और एक ये है? ऐसी फालतू चीजों में अपने पैसे बर्बाद कर रही है। अरे शर्म भी खाई है क्या?
वृंदा, दरवाजा खोल बेटा। वृंदा, वृंदा,
ये देखो और सोचो कि इन दोनों में से कौन सी शर्म वाली चीज है।
बदतमीजी करेगी ना तो 2 थप्पड़ दूंगी, अकल ठिकाने आ जाएगी तेरी।
दादी ध्यान से पढ़ो, इसमें लिखा है कि कपड़ा इस्तेमाल करने से बीमारियां फैलती है, और ये जो बेकार चीज आप बोल रहे हो ना, इन्हें पैच कहते हैं। आज से मैं यही पहनूंगी, गंदा कपड़ा नहीं।
माँ जी, वृंदा सही कह रही है।
वो तो बच्ची है, तू तो समझदार है। जिंदगी समझौतों से चलती है।
पर माँ, जरूरी तो नहीं जो सदियों से ये प्रथा चली आ रही है वो सही ही हो। और आप जानते हो कि ऐसे दबके रहना कितना गलत है। और ये गंदा कपड़ा, इससे हम औरतों को कितनी दिक्कतें होती हैं। किसी ना किसी को तो ये अनकही प्रथा बदलनी होगी ना। और माँ, मैं नहीं चाहती कि जो आपके और मेरे साथ हुआ वो मेरी वृंदा के साथ भी हो।
And I mean, that was a good pause for me also, because it is being monologue. I've been talking from so many minutes. So these are also good ideas. And let me tell you, any product is displayed here is, I'm not endorsing any product. I'm not into that their advertising. It's just that these are some friendly ways to generate a conversation if we have not done it till now. And yes, we have, growing up is a very beautiful aspect, and we need to groom our children, groom our, growing up kids in the aspect that, yes, it's time for self-care. And when we make them responsible for the safety of their and the hygiene of their own body, they really take care of it, and we inculcate the required safety skills in them, right? So these are the few things which can be gifted as a kit to your child, and conversation around it can happen, can start, and we can start grooming girls for them. I mean, the kit is available for boys also, though I have put that one also here. So now we come to the discussion of PMS, very popular nowadays. हमारे time पे इस तरह के discussions नहीं होते थे, and PMS was not even a term we knew that was existing. So yes, we need to talk about this, and it is a combination of all the females present here understand, and of course many of the male counterparts also understand this regular monthly cycle of the females, that it is a combination of physical, emotional, physiological, and mood disturbances also can occur, and which is usually end with the onset of menstruational flow. So there are many physical feelings of bloatness, discomfort, and pain in abdomen area, backaches, headaches, and breast pains. Breasts become tender, joint and muscle pains. Trouble in sleeping, discomfort everywhere. Sometimes nauseatic also. Some females or some girls experience nausea during the cycles, and other physiological and behavioral aspects regarding this. And the majority of our girls find it difficult to understand what they are experiencing. Developing a solid understanding of the basics of menstruation is important. They struggle to grasp the value of this physical change if they lack self-help skills, preparedness, and also it becomes a challenge because of other limitations our children have. So additionally, multiple studies have found that cyclic hormonal fluctuations and menstruational cramps cause an increase in problems in behavior and emotional issues, right? And other problems as well during certain point of the menstruational cycle. So most young girls are reliant on their parents and carers. We know that, however, it can be quite difficult to keep girls private area, perineum area, we call it, which is between the vagina and the anus, clean during that time. And the mother or the person who is supervising has the supervising responsibility during this time grow, and it can complicate at the time of menstruational cycle for in some aspects to the other family members also, because it might impact the daily routine. So especially when menstruation starts, because girls are less receptive of it, because obviously the pain and discomfort and overwhelming sight of blood, seeing it is also not a very comfortable sight. So it becomes very important to positively and regularly engage in physical activities and those kind of thing which eases out the symptoms of menstruational cycles. So coming on to the topic, what is menstrual hygiene and how to manage hygiene during menstruation. So it varies significantly again across culture, depends on the availability of the products we are using for managing the menstruation, and also because of the religious belief and the cultures and other societal norms and family standards. So some general measures that can help us to continue daily routine without being interrupted by periods is managing menstruational flow to prevent menstruational fluid from soiling the clothes. That should be the priority, right? Maintaining proper hygiene and cleanliness. That's again a very important aspect. Eating a balanced diet to provide the body essential nutrients, keeping ourselves hydrated, maintaining an active lifestyle while avoiding stress and tension, right? And of course, the extra care from all other members of the family has to be extended to our, girls. So we also to the person who is actually supervising it and assisting the growing up girl in this aspect. So we also need to mention that it is important to teach our children that we need to change sanitary pads or whatever products like disposable panties they are using, or they are using the period panties, and regular interval, and to wash the hands before and after changing the pads or any other sanitary products they are using. The proper disposal of waste and maintaining adequate privacy is also be taken care. And we need to tell them that the proper menstruational hygiene prevents the risk of the infections. Early talks with our children, regular hygiene routines, task and reception, and modeling it, the proper hygiene skills can help our children to take proper care of themselves. And they have been doing it in many aspects, right? So now we come to the aspect, I mean, this is one of the way we can teach them how to track the periods, right? And for teaching any skill to our children, we have been using this kind of strategies. I know in incorporating it, that first we do instruct and, I mean, the regular commentary base exercise, whatever we are doing. If we suppose we are tracking the period, so we need to tell them, it's a cyclic phenomena which happens to the females, and it is a very important part of growing up, right? So it happens every month, and it is a 30 to 28-day cycle. So we can predict, when it is going to happen next. Isn't it amazing that we know when it is going to come, right? The first one, we never know when it started and how it started. So first we do it for them, and then we give cues and we help them to do it. It's very interesting. You can find anywhere, this kind of a calendar where you can put, your own ways how to mark those, days when you have to be very extra cautious and, caring for self and keeping a high alert mode in, maintaining the hygiene. So then we can also teach by modeling it for them. Like few of the parents and mothers we have encountered, they have done the drills with them, with the children. We'll see in the coming slide that how we are going to model it, or the practice drills can be set. And then we do praise, but we do not praise every time with a reward. We praise them by saying, oh, I'm so proud of you. You make me so happy. You're being so independent, So that verbal praises. And for everything doing well, that praise also should be limited, when they are become independent and they're doing things, okay? So, you have established a good routine. So every right thing done should not be awarded, because it becomes very tedious to reward for each thing done right. And which is of hygiene importance should be established as a habit, right? So we repeat it as needed. Maybe we show them visual representations also. Let me reflect in the next slide. Like for girls, how to wear a pad, right? So if we are using the disposable pad, what is the first step? We take out its cover, how it is packed, right? So we need to demonstrate. We can also use any, these cue cards are available there online, and we can also show them it doing physically with them. That's how we use it. We remove it and we stick it. We can help them stick it to, their underwear if they are using the disposable pads. And how to change the used sanitary napkin also we need to inculcate, because we have come across cases, I have come across cases where a fresh pad, wearing a fresh pad is not a problem, but changing a used pad becomes a complicated task. So because it might have a lot of sensitive, so for that we need to customize that. While doing the change, we can use the disposable, gloves if the child feels not comfortable, touching the used pad. There can be a lot of aspects, as I told you, when it comes to the individual who is undergoing the, menstruation cycle. So that customization we have to do on our own, or we can get in touch. Otherwise, very many products is also, I have come across many mothers who say that disposable period panties are very good product for, our children to manage their cycles well. So this cue card story is very helpful in telling them, this is how I will change my period panties, right? We'll go to the bathroom. So these are sequencing cards available on internet, and that's how so beautifully it can be demonstrated to them, or used in a very interesting manner, so that they don't forget or don't miss any step while changing the period panty or their pads. So now come to a very important aspect, which I think we all have been always looking also as mothers and females, that how to feel best during periods, right? So we feel best during any challenge is when we are prepared well. So if in army style, I'm going to say it that the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed during war. So till for the younger parents whose girls are still 8 years below, talk about every aspect of growing. Make sure that you prepare her in advance with the right plan, right? In the slides to come, we will also know that how the scenarios can be discussed with our girls. So make sure that you prepare them in advance and with the right plan and discussing every aspect of these cycles. Tell your own stories. How did you cope up with? We jot down certain points, in the second slide, that when we were like writing about our own growing up time. So how did you cope up? How it was you as a small child feeling it. The child relates to that very instantly and are interested in listening to those stories. If you transitioned smoothly, make up some stories, right? So those are called social stories. We make up some stories and become a character in it, or take somebody as a fictional character to your stories and discuss this aspect. Every time, we don't wait for teaching moments. For this aspect, we need to create opportunities like showing such an ad, or that ad is just not for the young girl to understand. That ad is for the three generation, for a grandmother to understand, the seniors in the family to understand, or so it's a whole process in a family where we take care of this aspect. So every menstrual cycle is different. So your self-care should be customized, which should suit your symptoms. Finding what elevates your pre-menstruational symptoms can help you function better physically and might meet our emotional needs and our child's emotional need during the discomfort. Like very important time to reiterate or reinforce the nutrition, the healthy habits, and the hydration. For the child, pani kitna hi piyega bachcha. So we can also introduce some fresh juices, or the fruits which has the water content in it. Exercise and movements are important. We can indulge in the regular yoga and some aerobic practices which will help in the long way. And the yes, emotional and self-care strategies like listening to music, reading, or reading to for them, or reading something which you enjoy. Some activities you must have with you, that together with your child you enjoy and you can together feel good about it. And yes, having friends around, and the best person, the person whom they love the most around them to take care of their emotional well-being works best. And of course, we need to be prepared with the whatever menstrual products we want to introduce for a child, right? For a girl child who is who hasn't started to menstruate, whichever product you feel should suit the needs, you should be identifying it, and accordingly you should be grooming your child on its uses, right? Be it a cloth, or be it a disposable product, be it period panties, or any any other way you manage there are disposable and reusable pads, there are disposable and reusable period panties as well. And I've come across mothers who recommend a lot of these products very confidently, that has made their life comfortable, their child's life also comfortable, and the child is so confident about handling the menstruation cycle. Yes, medical advices are important if there are irregular periods or abnormal bleeding, or a lot of discomfort. So we need to find out and collate it with other reports. So we need to seek a doctor at the right time. So this is also another aspect I was prompted to discuss while I was going through the questionnaires answers which we have received. So yes, bodily exploration is a very normal aspect of all of us, right? Um, because our children are not, they don't come with the inhibition what is socially appropriate, or what is happening naturally or to my body should be addressed then and there. So it is us, we need to groom them for the private and public behavior. So a lot of misconceptions or the myths about masturbation is there, that masturbation is not a normal part of sexual development. According to the studies published in many pediatric associations, or in many organizations who are working on this area, it said that it is normal part of sexual development, and many girls and boys masturbate. It is totally healthy for people with additional needs also. So it is totally normal. The concept, before our child reaches to this stage when the bodily exploration start, we need to establish as private and public behavior. So this is, of course, a very private behavior, which is us. We need to train them that this has to be done in a private, right? There are many techniques and ways which we can later on have some, consultation, one-on-one consultation, or subsequent sessions where we can discuss it openly. Then the doubt also came, the bodily exploration is considered dirty. So many, again, it is a research fact that it is natural to explore your body, right, for anybody. And yes, body also gives you pleasure. And masturbation is an integral part of a healthy development for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities also, right? Then the point came that it is harmful. In journal, in the medical community considers that this act is natural and harmless expression of sexuality for both men and women, right? Until unless it is actually creating a physical discomfort or injury to the person who's indulging in it. So that needs to be supervised and taken care. So we need to educate ourselves. We need to improve our own vocabulary or build our own vocabulary to equip our children about this aspect. And masturbation leads to pregnancy. It is a very, it's highly myth. It's a very strong myth we are talking about. It doesn't carry any risk of pregnancy or sexually or any kind of a disease or infections, and may have benefits of sexual and emotional health. When you are bodily satisfied, when your thirst is quenched, when your hunger is satisfied, you feel better to cope with your other struggles of your life, right? अगर हमारा भी पेट भरा होता है तो we don't feel that agitated, but when we are hungry and we are still overloaded with work, so that kind of a stress comes out. So the bodily pleasures also is one of the ways which relieves us from a lot of stresses and anxiety. It doesn't translate into behavior. Then it says that masturbation leads to mental health problems, which is also absolutely wrong. One may experience shame or guilt due to associated beliefs, or health professional agree that it is very normal and healthy, and it does not cause any physical or mental health problem, right? Then another myth comes that masturbation causes health problems such as excessive hair growth on the hand, blindness, infertility, erectile dysfunctions, and even death. This is also not true, right? These are rooted in sexual shame and embarrassment, because that's how it is told to the young ones that these kind of things will happen if you indulge in this kind of behavior. So only to discourage the people with the diagnosis to avoid this kind of sexual autonomy, and none of them have any scientific evidence, right? None of these things are true, and which as a grown-up individual and well-read people, we also know that these kind of things are not true. We should also not be sharing this information with a person with extra needs. Why? Because a wrong information is always a wrong information, and it will lead to a lot of confusions in times to come. So of course, when we then we come to the why masturbate, why they want to bodily explore themselves, right? So there are a lot of reasons given, which we discussed in the last presentation as well, that why person with intellectual and development disability indulge in this kind of behavior. Because at times when a child, a grown-up, an adult reaches into that phase where this kind of a bodily changes they are experiencing, they tend to explore themselves bodily. If they are not involved in a positively or disciplined or structured way routine, in a very rigorous and productive routine, there are a lot of moments they have sitting idle and exploring every aspect of their personality. And of course the exposure towards media and the kind of content we are indulging in for pastime is hinting a lot of things to our children. Whereas when we have a structured disciplined routine for them, it works fine with them, and they are always looking forward for the next task they are supposed to do, or the next responsibility they are supposed to execute, right? So, and of course the lack of appropriate sexuality education related to this phenomena, right, related to masturbation, we need to establish the kind of the opportunity of privacy. We do not let them be in the privacy, we do not trust themselves with them, right? So when we have established a lot of safety aspect, we have talked about those safety rules with them. There are a list of safety rules we talk about them that comes to a teenager or adulthood, like which needs to be given to the child when the child is reaching 10 years, that there are clothing rules, touching rules, talking rules, these kind of things, clear do's and don'ts needs to be established before the child hits the pubertal age. And the people who are involved in the care giving of the person with a, they have to respect the privacy of the person with intellectual disability. If they're in the washroom, stand outside, ask them if they are done with, they want any assistance, then only just go inside. Otherwise, let's not disturb them unnecessarily. Just because they do not object, that doesn't mean that gives us right to not give them privacy or intrude in their privacy. And yes, we know that hormone levels can influence sensitivity. I've taken so much of time, but there's so much to talk about. And how to inculcate how to inculcate the attitude for personal safety. This is also very important. We talk regularly. We talk about every aspect of our body, visible or covered parts of our body, private parts, the visible parts. When we give them the correct names of the private parts, that also is empowering. That also establish the foundation for teaching them personal safety rules. We tell them that your mouth, your lips, your breast, your vagina, your hips are your private parts, right? We name the private part with the correct scientific name or with the correct popular name. Otherwise, many a times the the undesired or unsafe behavior is not reported because we have not we have labeled the private part with something fancy and not exactly how it should be called. So when we slowly establish the concept of my body is my responsibilities, the personal safety grooming has already started. We need to constantly talk about the right and the wrong body behaviors of self and others. We need to discuss about the personal space, mine and also for others. This is my personal space. Nobody can come in it. It's a personal bubble. There are very many means to teach, this concept to our children. We need to prepare towards each event, social gathering, by spending 10 to 15 minutes daily talking about how gracefully and socially they have to conduct themselves in the times to come. When it is told, it is executed well. When it is expected and no training or no cues have been given to our children, how do we expect appropriate behavior? So we need to tell them that these things, like we teach any social habits to them. So we know our children have unique learning needs. They always feel safe around us. We need to talk about personal space, private and public concepts, safety rules, clothing, touching, talking, internet and phone safety rules we need to talk about. Internet and phone is a public place. We need to tell what goes there, stays there, and can be, these are the public places. So we need to ensure that, a lot of exposure to screen and what kind of content, the learning is happening from all the directions, just you and me teaching, and that learning happens faster, right? So we have to become the safe adults. And what does the safe adult, what makes you the safe adult? The safe adult you become only when you follow all these safety rules. So model, everything is taught by modeling it. So then we also need to tell them that we can get help. The world is a very safe place. This is the only planet where life is, thriving and people are living, breathing, and coexisting, right? But it only becomes dangerous when there are some rule breakers. If we live by rule, this is a beautiful place to be in. But the rule breakers needs to be reported. So that's how we tell them that how to report if something unsafe, inappropriate has been they have experienced. If we need to teach them that socially acceptable behaviors such as maintaining privacy, understanding and saying no is also, a very important aspect of growing up. Increasing and also processing no as an answer, right? If I say for something no, so the child might feel upset. My responsibility after that becomes that upset child should feel happy, but that no remains no. And for this child will always abide by the rules. But yes, the frustration happens when you are told no for something. आज भी मेरे साथ, if somebody tells me I want to do something, if I want to go there and it is said no, you can't, it frustrates me, and it impacts my behavior towards my people, family, the people around me. So help is in having better understanding and communication between parents and their children are on responsibilities, various issues like relationships and every aspect of a family, right? And how to reinforce what is being taught. What if scenarios can be discussed, situations, reaction can be, situations can be given and a proper reaction can be expected from them. There's nothing wrong and right in it. Social stories can be told, visual aids, some visual aids we saw in today's presentation. Similar, you will find according to your need in the media, or you can also connect to me in person where if you need more. Like we can also discuss drills and practice, like how to use a product. It's all drills and practice. How to use a toothbrush, it was all drill and practice. So we need to discuss some situations. Like I want to give an hint here. Like if we ask a young girl that a young girl starts her period and the blood soaks through her clothes, what will she do, right? Before that, we have already established the fact that what is to be done, what will be the course of action for our child. So the answer should be she should inform. If it's the school, she should inform a teacher, a parent, or whosoever adult is around her, or a didi. That one person has to be there, and you should be in total rhythm with your with the child's ecosystem, that which teacher is there and how you need to seek help, that my child is entering the puberty and this kind of a help she might seek. Or she should go to the washroom and change her underwear and put on a new pad. So we also need to make sure that the habit of carrying or being prepared towards this regular monthly cycle is the drill is in place. So for that we need to do a lot of times, maybe hundreds and thousands, maybe months, maybe for years, but it happens. And it happens so beautifully, that transition, that a time comes when you just wait and see that young girl turning into such a graceful lady in times to come.
Actually,
So thank you for this opportunity. I think all the time I have only exhausted. But here on this slide, I have given my information. We can reach out to me. And I want to say that be like water. We need to be like water to adapt, overcome. Water does not fight obstacles. It flows around it, right? When it meets rock, it does not stop. It finds the way forward over time, in even carves through the hardest stone. Life will throw challenges your way, but instead resisting, learn to adapt, keep moving, keep evolving, and let nothing stop our progress, our child's progress. Thank you so much. Sorry, Parul.
थैंक यू
Went on.
सो आपने इतने अच्छे कार्यक्रम का अंत, जो इतनी अच्छी लाइन से आए, यही लाइन से इस कार्यक्रम का अंत हो सकता था। इतनी सारी जानकारियां आपने हमें दी हैं, एकदम क्रमवार तरीके से हम समझ सकते हैं कि जिन्हें समझने में हमारा बिल्कुल आंखें हमारी हटी नहीं है, वो सब इकट्ठा करके और क्रमवार लगा के हम तक लाने में आपको कितना समय लगा होगा। उसके लिए सबसे पहले तो हम आपका धन्यवाद देते हैं, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। एंड दोस्तों में से अगर कोई चाहते हैं, कोई एक हिस्सा या कुछ भी कोई चीज आप चाहते हैं कि आपको हिंदी में बताई जाए, तो हम उसे बताने के लिए बिल्कुल तैयार हैं। सैमी उसको हिंदी में आपको शॉर्ट में बता देंगे, कुछ भी अगर आप चाहते हैं। एंड आपके अगर कोई भी सवाल है तो अब आप सैमी से वो अपने सवाल प्लीज पूछ सकते हैं, हैंड रेज करके पूछ सकते हैं या कमेंट बॉक्स में, या फिर अपना माइक्रोफोन ऑन करके पूछ सकते हैं. You can turn on your microphone and ask question if you have any about this presentation.
I think she was so clear, man. I don't think anybody would have doubts
Yes,
anyway.
because पहले से भी सवाल आ गए थे.
Yes,
and
yeah. That helped me to shape my presentation, Parul, and it was really, I mean, I hope it was useful for the people who are attending today.
Padma Kenny
पूरा
के
रियल
madam so much
सो
for this.
नाइस प्रेजेंटेशन मैम. शामी
Thank
मैम,
you. Thank
बाप
you.
रे, एक पल भी हमारा नहीं गिरा. इतना अच्छा लगा है रियलिटी. मैं तो एक्सपीरियंस हूँ रश्मि के. अब कहाँ से आगे से हमको हमको पढ़ाने के लिए कोई नहीं था.
आप ही से सीख रहे हैं हम आप ही से सीख रहे हैं कि हमें पता है कि हमारे बच्चे कर सकते हैं.
वेरी नाइस, सो
Thank
नाइस.
you.
बहुत
Thank you.
अच्छा लगा.
Thank you, ma'am.
ये बार बार भी होना चाहिए.
जी जी
जी
जी.
बिल्कुल.
I think Anupama ma'am has a
थैंक यू सो
question.
मच.
She's raised her hand, Parul.
या
Yeah, yes,
ये
yes.
तो शामी का जो भी है प्रेजेंटेशन तो बहुत यंगस्टर पेरेंट्स को और बच्चों के लिए ना बहुत ही अच्छा था. तो वो हमारा तो क्या बोलने का, हमारा तो उसको पार हो गया, लेकिन अभी मेंस्ट्रुअल का वो मेनोपॉज के स्टेज में आई है शायद, ऐसा लगता है, क्योंकि उसका 5 दिन रेगुलर था. आजकल अभी वो 3 दिन में आ गया है, ढाई,
Okay.
और कभी कभी थोड़ा सा आगे पीछे, ज्यादातर आगे जा रहा है, लेकिन
जी
बट
जी.
शी इज मेंटेनिंग.
Yeah.
वो क्या हो रहा है, थोड़ा सा हमें ज्यादा ध्यान देना पड़ रहा है.
Yes.
और
Yes.
कभी कभी उसको पता भी नहीं हो जाता, नाइट में हो जाता है ना, तो वो पता
Yes.
नहीं चलता, लेकिन जब भी है, थोड़ा भी है, तो फिर वो अपना आप कर लेती है.
Yes.
हमें उसके बारे में वो पहले से ही उसका 10 years में ही उसका हुआ है. फर्स्ट
अच्छा.
टाइम जब हुआ था तो उसका ना अपने आप, वो दोनों सिस्टर के साथ बड़ी है ना, तो
Yes.
उनका वो गाइडेंस बहुत अच्छा मिला है उसको.
Absolutely.
तो
That's what
घर में
every
भी
family
गेस्ट थे,
composition is
हाँ,
different.
गेस्ट आए हुए थे, तो उसको ना टॉयलेट में दिखाई दिया है, तो डर के वो सीधा जाके, मुझे वो उनके साथ आके कुछ भी नहीं बोले, अपनी बहनों के साथ बेडरूम में जाके उसको बताए, बड़े दोनों बैठे थे, तो उनको बता दिया कि ऐसा ऐसा हुआ. तो उन्होंने चुपचाप उसको ले जाके क्या करना है सब उन्होंने सिखाया, मैंने नहीं कुछ सिखाया.
Yes.
तो वो उसको
Absolutely.
मेंटेन करते गए
बहुत
हैं.
बड़ी बात होती है, बहुत बड़ा सपोर्ट होता है. आप सही कह रही हैं मैम कि ये अगर सिस्टर्स हैं वहाँ पे तो बहुत बड़ा सपोर्ट होता है. सेपरेट भी जैसे आपने बहुत सारी चीजें हमें बताई हैं. तो इसमें कुछ लोग जैसे अभी भी ऐसे हैं कि जैसा कि आपने अपना प्रेजेंटेशन दिखाया था और वो वीडियो जो दिखाया था कि कुछ एरियाज ऐसे हैं जहाँ पर अभी भी कपड़े को यूज करना वो माना जाता
वो
है.
तो है.
तो इस तरह की क्या ऐसी चीजें हमारे आसपास हो सकती हैं जिससे कि हम इसे रिप्लेस कर सकें, और किस तरह से अवेयरनेस हम लोग भी फैला सकते हैं जो लोग ऑलरेडी शिफ्ट कर चुके हैं वहाँ.
Yes.
तो
Yes,
जब भी
Parul.
जो भी मुझे
If
पूछते
any
हैं ना,
product we use to manage our menstruation cycle, if used with proper hygiene and care, I think that will not come as a obstacle in maintaining a hygienic menstruation cycle. Because I remember as a child I started with using the cloth homemade cloth napkins, and we had a
also
rigorous way of cleaning it. When it needs to be washed, first
wash
it
it.
has to be thoroughly washed with the clean water, and then with the soapy water, then again with 2 3 4 clean waters, and sun dried. And it used to be a standard drill. We switched on to the disposable pads and the other products like tampons and menstruational cup very late in our life. Though it brings in a lot of comfort, but their uses is also very hygienic based. There are a lot of instructions which come along with using. Yes, disposable options becomes relatively easy with our children because we just need to tell them that how it is disposed. Because of the sensory issues and other aspect our children have, they might find it a little overwhelming to clean the product after use. So yes, it's a capacity building measure in the family, and I think that ad I just played reflects in a beautiful way on this aspect, that using something which is easy to maintain a hygiene and for our children. I think I have come across mothers who say कि यार आप सबको ना tell them about the reusable period panties, and I found it, yes, but it
Yes.
involves
What
just
are
not the managing the cycle, but how to clean that particular period panty for the next use. It has to be cleaned thoroughly, because we understand that how that menstruational blood, if remained there for a longer period, can turn into infections and fungi and the bacteria. So we do not want to reach there. And as for the babies, we do the Dettol, that protocol of having an antiseptic solution in the last clean wash. I think we will be having similar for
That,
those panties as well. So it's purely personal choice. I have also come across Parul mothers who's always been a reusable, product for their management of menstruation cycle. But for successfully, they have switched to the, disposable products for their child. And nowadays, the environment friendly products are also there. So, that should not be an impediment for us that, are going to contribute to the landfill, and proper disposable of anything makes it comfortable. Our first priority here becomes, Parul, that it has to be a stress-free management for the person who's supervising and for the person who's actually experiencing it. There are so many aspects, physiological and emotional aspects related to it, that it makes it very complicated to implement, because it's somebody else's body requirement, and there are so many other symptoms also, like bodily pains, and the cramps, and the mood swings, irritation, and weather also adds to that. Yeah, right. So the first priority has to be a management which is stress free and tension free and stain free for everybody around that, right? For the child herself, because we do not want to land up in any embarrassment. Our family might have, accepted, okay, it's okay. She has always has a stain when she has to, but why? Why we become so lenient when it can be reiterated and established with our child, right? So the priority here is different.
बहुत सारे आपके लिए मैसेज भी आए हैं, मुझे लगता है आपने देख ही लिए होंगे। एंड आज का एक मैसेज पढ़ के हम आपकी तरफ चलते हैं। वेरी इंफॉर्मेटिव एंड यू हैव ब्रोकन इट इनटू पार्ट्स व्हिच मेड इट इजी। गॉड ब्लेस यू। सो गॉड ब्लेस यू सैमी, आज आपने बहुत बड़ी जो है एक जानकारी हमें दी है, और इसके लिए आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। और अब हम आपको बहुत ज्यादा देर तक नहीं रोकेंगे। अब आपकी एक कप अदरक वाली चाय, और आपके बीच में हम नहीं आएंगे। आप अच्छे से रेस्ट करिए, चाय पीजिए, लगातार 1 घंटे तक आप बोलिए। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। और दोस्तों, आप में से जिनके भी सवाल होंगे वो आप सैमी से, मैं जानती हूँ कुछ लोग यहाँ सवाल नहीं पूछ रहे होंगे, तो आप सैमी से अलग से फोन करके जान सकते हैं जो भी जानकारी आपको चाहिए होती है। तो आज का सेशन ये हम यहीं खत्म करते हैं। वृंदा जी, एक बार फिर से सैमी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत सारा प्यार दें।
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you so much. It was very
Thank you,
informative.
DSFI. Thank you, Brinda. Thank you, Rekha Ma.
Sammy. Thank you so
Parul.
much.
And thank you,
thanks,
parents,
Parul.
for receiving it.
Okay, Sammy, next time we will see you as the host again, okay? So
Yes.
till then, bye-bye. See you, everyone.
Parul,
See you all next
you
week.
are the best host. Parul is the best host, and you, Brunda, really hats off to you.
She's the best support technical team. Thank you,
All
Brinda.
three
सब कुछ टीम के साथ होता है।
all musketeers.
Thank you
Three.
so much. See you, everyone, next week. Till then, bye-bye. Have a great weekend.
Thank
You also.
I'm
You
ending
too
the
have a
meeting now.
great
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
weekend.
Thank you.